because usually if I was getting up here to say what I'm saying, out of me, I would be terrified that a lot of you are going to think I'm crazy. A lot of you are, and maybe even some of my friends are, because I have friends who have had these kind of things happen in their lives, and I thought they were crazy, and then it happened to me, and I know it's real. I know God's real. Okay, so I also want to say, I'm starting by saying, what were you just saying? The lies that the enemy is telling us, the accusations that the enemy is telling us. I have been accused of being a failure because I am not strong enough in my human strength. And for the last week and a half, I have undergone an intense spiritual battle where the enemy was accusing me of being a failure. That I was a failure. And the reason why is because I'm a nursing student. I chose nursing because when I was 16 years old, I felt this very strong, distinct call from God to just surrender my life to Him, that He was going to use me however He wanted. And then I spent the rest of the time, so the next 5 years, trying to make it happen. I chose nursing because it's a great career to serve people, and God can take you overseas and really use you to go overseas. And I was like, yeah, I know, that's right. And I'm smart, and I'm not grossed out by blood, and I'll wipe poopy butts whenever you ask me to. I'm great with that. And so, yeah, I'm going to do nursing. It makes total sense. And I pursued it, and I went for it. And I got to a place where I just hate it. I hate nursing, and I hate that I hate it because I shouldn't hate it because it makes sense, right? But I hated it. And this semester, when I started it, I felt like such a failure because I couldn't make myself love what He had put me in, what I thought He had put me in, what He was calling me to. And I was like, why am I such a failure? Why can't I love what You've called me, God? And so 2 weeks ago, the end of Deeper Life on that Friday, Wanda Blase spoke, and she was talking about honesty, and then Wanda got up and said, if you have something that you need to confess, like, come up and confess it. And the thing that popped in my head was that I've struggled with cutting for a couple of years. And I told one group of people that I struggled with cutting, but I did it because I wanted their sympathy and because I wanted them to be like, oh my gosh, you're in such a deep place, let me love you. And nothing happened. They never followed up with me about it. It's okay, Rachel, don't worry about that. They never followed up with, that was God. They never followed up with me about it, and I was like, oh man, I guess it's not that big of a deal then. My friends were freaking out about that I was cutting, and I kept doing it. And then when Wanda said, go and confess things that you know need to be confessed, I came in my head and I was like, there's no way. And then she came up and she said, confess to your friends. And my dear friend, Melissa Zell, was up here. She was like one of the only prayer leaders who didn't have anyone there, and I knew I had to go. It didn't make sense, I was terrified, but I knew I had to go. And I went up to her, and I told her, I whispered, I cut myself, and I burst into tears. Then Sunday night, after that, my friend Stephanie Mercier came to my room. I was complaining to her about nursing, about how much I hated it, and she said, just change your major then, because I love ICS stuff. I've always wished I could be an ICS major, so in her eyes, she was like, just change to ICS to what you love. And when she said that, I felt this instant feeling of freedom, like, wow, I could do that. I would be free from having to work so hard to be good enough. And then I was terrified, and I burst into tears, and I was terrified. Because I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. This is crazy. It doesn't make sense. You don't quit nursing when you're a junior, and you've been passing, and you're made for nursing, right? And then I underwent these last 2 weeks of intense spiritual battle, and at the time, I thought I was PMSing, I thought my hormones were going out of control, and I was so mad, I was waiting for it to come, and then I was even madder, because I thought I was going through this journey, like, with God, and I was. And guys, I'm telling you, I was trying to figure it out with my head. I was trying to figure out in my head, what's the wisest choice? What's the wisest choice? You know, and the wisest choice would have been to keep pushing through it. And a lot of people told me, keep pushing through it, you're almost done, and He will use you as a nurse. And I don't doubt